just for funsies, I think we're going to start with trans fluid in the F100. I really just want to see those wheels spin and do things, which it was when I first fired it up, before I could get the camera on it last time. If you guys remember, it wasn't spinning anymore. And I believe that's just because the fluid was so low, I didn't have enough in there. So we're going to find out. We're going to throw a couple quarts in, fire it up, see if we can row through some gears. And I'm hoping, actually, if the transmission fluid is enough to get this thing a shifting, we're going to try and go ahead and move this thing, play some origami, I don't know, Chinese fire drill. And we got to get this one moved out. I'm going to put this one where that is, that one where that is, and then this one in the garage. So we're going to move some stuff around and clear some space. That's tomorrow's problem. So let's go ahead and knock out what we can today. Let's get this thing up. Bam. So we already got our new terminals on. That's cool. All the electrical's already pretty well dealt with on this guy now. So go ahead and yank that transmission dipstick. I'll get my long funnel. We'll feed this thing some fluid. Let's just make sure she is, in fact. See, that's concerning to me. It's high on the stick right now, but when it was running, it wasn't showing anything. So I don't know. Don't add it between arrows. Check when hot, idling in park. So we're going to fire it up, idling in park, and see how much it drops down. Of course, for that, we're going to need keyage. So she ain't been fired up in about 3 weeks. So place your bets on whether or not she actually will bark off. All right, I got 2 quarts in it. Brake's gonna be enough. Neutral. Right. Other side's moving 90 feet faster than the other. Down in the curve. I'm gonna let her run in first gear for a
That side ain't doing nothing because we're idling, but she's just a twirling. Just a swangin'. Oh yeah. Alright, now it's back in park. Let's check the fluid level. Fancy dancy rag. Little oil pants. Oh yeah, we're on the money now. Right above the top hatch, which is good. Old school type F, which is what it calls for. Problem is, at least in the rear, there's zero brakes. I mean, none at all. There's probably none in the front either. Collection's running good. Burning some crud off, but I mean, honestly, that's just from sitting and dripping things, and I still got stuff on the headers. She's just singing, but she still needs an oil change, so we're gonna go ahead and give her a rest. Sweet. So we got gears, which is good. So we know we're gonna be able to run, drive, shift. It did fire right back up. It hadn't run since literally the last time I recorded and put that video out, which was about 3 weeks ago. I need to vacuum all the acorns and stuff off the top of this thing, clean it up, tweak and tune that carb a little bit because she's definitely cold-blooded. Change the fuel filter, which I have, I just haven't done yet. I mean, at this point, it's all just the maintenance. Changing the oil and filter, which I've got. But I mean, hell, everything's working really now. Even the temp gauge inside was working. It was climbing up, hit about 120 or so, just running at what we did. But nothing on the oil pressure, which it's possible it's not even hooked up. I don't know. And also, I didn't see anything on the voltage, but again, could be just not connected. Could be some of these wires I never did rehook up. I mean, I have no idea what this is, but it's not doing anything, nor this one. So we'll figure that out later. But we're running, we got gears, so in theory the transmission is good. Might be good enough to at least give us a test run. I just need to shake this thing down around the block before we dump more parts and efforts in. That is a new brake master. So I really wonder if the brake issue is not just horribly misadjusted drums in the rear. Maybe the front brakes are working. Maybe they replaced it and they just never bled anything out or didn't bleed it out right. I don't know, it's a mystery, you know? So I'm doing some investigating. Crawled up under the dash, and I might pop the camera up in there and show you in a second, but the gauges, the reason only water temp is working is because it's the only one connected. There's nothing connected for the voltage or for oil pressure, so that's okay. At least that means we know they're just not hooked up. They're not necessarily broken, so that's good.
And I looked, and there's a black and yellow wires connected to that key switch that we don't know what it does next to the glove box. So still not sure where those go, but these blue wires, there's two blue wires that both run in there. They go to either side of a toggle switch, so they're an interrupt. One goes to the blower fan, and then one was over here by the battery. So if my hunch is correct, and we're about to find out, we're going to stick this on the positive battery terminal. And you guys listen real close, and I think we're about to hear the blower fan come on. Or not. You can untape this connection. Oh, hat. Well, barely even need untape. It just doesn't do a good job with it. Let's see if maybe that just is loose. Is the switch on? So blower fan works from that toggle switch. If I were to fix that wire and hook this up proper, it's not fused currently, and it's direct off the battery to that fan, so that's not going to fly. But at least we know what it does now, so that's good. The other one I got to figure out is that black and yellow on that other key switch. And there's whatever this is, and whatever this is. My goodness. I don't know what that does. And this other one comes in and then goes right back. I wonder if that's antenna. I bet that's an antenna wire for the aftermarket radio that clearly was in here and removed. Let me show you up under the dash. So, speaker wire running through and goes to here and is just cut. You can see the cut end right here. These blue wires, which are the fan, we solved that. This bracket here was somehow holding up a stereo in this area. This switch is doing that blower fan. Squeezing myself up under here a little more. We'll see what else there is to see here. We got some grounds that have been cut right here, probably also for the stereo. And then up in here, it's hard to see, but maybe like that. Up in here, there's that red wire that goes to a different color. I think that becomes the yellow wire, and that goes to this key switch right there. So it goes from here. Let me wiggle up underneath a little more. Yep, there we go. To that yellow. And looks like a yellow and a black, I believe. Hold on. There you go. But I think that yellow wire turns into this red wire right in here. The other end of that red wire is this, which ran over the battery. So this was feeding the hot to that switch. So what was on the other side of it, I guess, is the question. Whatever it is, I mean, I guess we don't need it. Truck's running without it. not a whole lot of accessories you have to worry about making work. So it was probably some accessory thing that he had that is no longer. I don't know. It's also possible maybe that did the cab lights up here that aren't connected anymore. All those trucker lights have all been cut. The ground is right there. The power wire is not anywhere. It probably got pulled out. That's my guess. Maybe that ran to that other switch. You'd think you'd want, I don't know. You'd think you'd want the cab lights over here by these lights, and then maybe that blower should have gone. I don't know why the blower is not hooked up to that, but there's a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense here. So, yeah, that temp gauge obviously has got power all the time. Oh wait, actually it's because we're turned forward. If we cut it back, will it drop? Nope. I don't know. She runs, she moves. I'm probably just gonna gut all that other unusual electrical. Just delete it all. Once we get into the cab and start cleaning the cab out, I'm gonna yank all that crap out. I might go back to the factory wiper switch because that does nothing. We could always rig that up to our own accessory. It's kind of funky having the key for a switch. It's unusual, but this whole truck's kind of unusual. I mean, it's custom. Could take the steering wheel off for anti-theft, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Well, it moves. Well, I don't know if it moves, but the tires spin. So, success. What are you guys thinking of this thing so far? Obviously, it's not a vehicle I need. It's just something for fun. It's something to put on the channel. But the channel is also for you guys. So let me know if it's something you guys are interested in, where you think I should go with it. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, I'm all ears. Let's have them. Within a modest budget, the sky's the limit on this. I'm kind of willing to do all kinds of weird stuff with it just because we're saving it from, the grave, basically. So anything we do is, benefiting this truck. Just getting it to where it is now running is something that it probably wouldn't have done had we not stepped in. So let me know what you guys think. And hey, leave me some likes, leave me some comments, subscribe. We get enough people subscribing. More people get in on this. We can share it, get more input, get more info, and and it's just fun for you guys to see it come to fruition. And if you're interested in this and you want to keep seeing more of it, subscribe. And I'm going to keep putting more videos out. And if you guys want to see something different or want to see work on my other projects, let me know. I do this for fun. It's fun for me to wrench on any of them. So if you guys want to change a direction, change a pace, I'm all for it. All right, we're going to get this thing back down on all fours. We get the rear end still lifted up. So let's drop that down, and then we're gonna put this thing into gear, roll it forward. I got a chalk up front, about a foot ahead. So we're gonna roll it forward, see if the brakes work at all. And if I've got any kind of brake action, we're gonna go ahead and pull out of the driveway. We're not gonna go far, but we're just gonna move it up into the yard over here. Keep it there out of the way for a while we do oil change, some other things on it, and move some cars around. Let's see. Moving this stuff, doing things. Doing all the stuff and things. So I find it hard to believe that this engine is original for a couple reasons. One being, and I've never had a 302 in one of the 70s pickups, but that drain plug
is not accessible except for reaching your arm either from in front or behind the cross member, because the plug is not on the rear of the pan. You would think this would be a rear facing drain plug. Also, somebody's done the Craigslist rebuild already on it. You can see all the blue where it's been repainted on the front of the housing. Probably when they changed, looks like they changed water pump maybe, and fuel pump. I don't know. It looks like somebody's tore into this thing, at least I'm assuming before, or they did a really good job of taping off to paint. Interesting. Also, like this power steering cooler. That's custom. Actually, that's probably factory, but it's kind of neat. I like that. All right, we're gonna crack that loose, crack this plug loose, drain this oil, and then I think we're gonna get this truck out of here. Move it. Pull dipstick in the cap so it'll vent. Got our drain pan coming up underneath. 15/16 going on it. Draining bay 1. So, one of my first real jobs, well, my first real job was working at a paintball field. And my next job was at Dairy Queen. But my first big boy job, I guess we'll call it, was I worked at a Jiffy Lube changing oil for like 3 years, from junior year into beginning of college. I yelled draining bay 1 an awful lot of times. I have no idea where this is going to spill out because it's got to come down on that cross member. So let's just be at the ready. Oh, chocolate milk. I don't know if you can see that, but that is a lot of milkshake moisture. Gnarly. That's not the right color. Glad we're getting it out of there. I think it's just from sitting and accumulating all that moisture, because it doesn't run like the head gasket's blown and the coolant looks good. So I think that's just from sitting, and I think it's probably been rained in. My guess is the reason it was partially locked up, the reason all this moisture's in here, is it probably sat hood open, air filter cover off for a while, and water infiltrated our engine a little bit here. But that's all right. That's why we're getting rid of it. Get this out, try and break this old Purelator filter loose, and get our freshie in here. I have seen some nasty oil, but I have never seen anything like that. I mean, it's almost goldish brown. It looks, man, it's nasty. So I thought I was recording, but apparently not. And you guys missed me driving it out of the driveway. It was a little bit of a monkey with a football situation anyhow. This thing is slipping like nobody's business. It had reverse fairly strong, but it didn't have forward gears very well, and I had to be pretty high RPMs, almost whining the thing out, just to get it to do anything. Got it around the block, checked it, and it was low on fluid again. So I think it just has taken a while for it to get through, but so far I've added 3 quarts to this thing, and it's still at least a quart, probably too low. So here, we'll add some more.
All right, let's try this again. Another quart and a half or so. There's 1 quart left in that container that had 4.5 in it. So we've added 3.5 from that and 3 from the other. So we've added 6.5 quarts of fluid until it started spilling out of the dipstick tube. So let's see what it does now. When it puts it down, it puts it down. I don't know why it goes in reverse so easy, but it just loads up and then spins like mad in drive. I don't quite get that. Unless it's something with the kickdown linkage, maybe? Kickdown has no return spring, so let me throw one of those on. When I'm inevitably looking for it later, remind me that I stole this throttle return spring off my Duster when that's not running right. I don't know why. Alright, so see what that does. All right, guys, did a thing. Bought a transmission. So we know that the transmission that's in the truck is unwell, and I don't know that it's going to be worth tearing into it to try and repair it. I'm pretty sure just the bands for all the forward gears are just toast. Reverse works fine. Drive and second gear do absolutely nothing. If I drop it all the way into first, you still can't feel it load up, but if you give enough RPM, it will start to move forward, but then it'll just grab and then the tires will spin. So obviously the bands are all, I think, just trashed. Picked this bad boy up off Marketplace, actually from a buddy of mine I've bought a couple other project stuff, cars and parts from. Had this one $350. It's a Reman C4 transmission with a new torque converter, new dipstick tube, and a flywheel. Figured $350, couldn't pass that up. Torque converter was just redone 2 years ago. It's a P&H converter. Thing actually looks pretty clean. It's definitely a much better platform than what we were working with. And that's going to be going into this truck. So we'll see that coming up on another video soon. Not super excited to crawl under this thing and tear it out, but we're gonna have some fun with it. We're gonna really go nuts as we're pulling this stuff out. We're gonna clean really well undercarriage of this thing. I'm gonna repaint that transmission. We're probably gonna repaint the engine and really spiff it up under the hood. Kind of the same thing we did with the U-Haul F350. Leave the outside looking like a Survivor, but have it look presentable and nice under the hood. So we're gonna call it time of death, January 13th, 2024 on this transmission. Might have some fun with it anyway, since we know we're replacing it now. I have the replacement. I'm not concerned about trying to rebuild it. We may just drop her into first and tear around the neighborhood a little bit and show you guys that, so we can make this a first drive video too. So probably do that in a little bit this evening, and then move some stuff around like we were planning to do, get this thing eventually up to the garage and ready for surgery. At least it is in a different location. The thing actually sits pretty level, even with the slightly smaller tires in the front. But I think she's looking pretty good. We still got to clean up that front bumper, fix the grills because they're kind of like bowed out a little bit. It's kind of got like a nose in the middle. So we'll work on that. Hood's popped open right now, so don't worry about that. But yeah, got to adjust the doors. The door striker is pulled way out, so this thing needs to be in considerably. Door lines up good, it just needs to be adjusted. But you can see what I mean with the tires. I left some skid marks. Put it in reverse and backed it all the way up down here. Went in reverse, no problem. I was going to put it in drive and roll it forwards, and it didn't want to go. When you give it enough throttle, she just she went back to the future on me. So it might do burnouts, but it ain't gonna do daily driving.